Okay, record on his computer. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Get to Know Your Board Members. This is a little feature that we're doing for all of our members so that they can get to know who are the people on the board and what they're made up of, what their dreams are, and what they hope to help the IFVP accomplish in the next, during their term. So today we're here with Jenny Trautman. We're going to have an interview. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Jenny. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wonderful. So I'm actually the president of the board, which stuns me as much as it stuns everybody, right? Because I've only been a visual practitioner about 5 years. I'm a visual facilitator, own a company called Same Page People in Atlanta, Georgia. And I began using visuals because I ran meetings that were kind of boring, and I wanted to engage people more. I wanted to speed up decision making. And I had 3 people in 2 weeks recommend that I look into doing graphic recording. And I thought to myself, well, that's something I could never do. But then when I realized, oh, wait, I can do elements of that with facilitation, then all of a sudden I saw this way to do much more interesting meetings. So that's how I got to where I am.
That's awesome. That's great. So what was it that brought you to the visual practice field?
It was actually, I'll tell you where it started, as I have a business associate in Washington, D.C. And she told me this great story about going to this meeting, and this guy put papers up all around the walls, and he was drawing and leading the meeting. It was such an amazing meeting. His name's David Sibbett. And so, here I have this picture of this guy facilitating this meeting and doing these really detailed graphic notes and David Sibbett, right? And so I go learn about the Grove, and I get myself signed up for a class. And then I went to take a facilitation class because I had not done a lot of facilitation for a couple of years. I left corporate and I went in and I did a bunch of really technology related systems work. It was consulting work, but not a lot of meetings. So I went and took a facilitation class, and in that class there was a woman who was doing sketch notes, and she said, oh, the Grove. Right? So then I get myself signed up for this class, and years later, I finally take a class with David in the class. He was co-leading it with Rachel Smith. And I asked him, it was at the advanced visual facilitation class, as a matter of fact. And I asked him, hey, I had this friend who told me this thing, and this, you put paper all around them. He said, no, I was not facilitating that meeting. I was doing graphic recording. So, I got in and I got excited because I had a friend who was excited. And then what I found out is it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could do it.
Yes,
Yay.
we can all do it. So what made you decide to join the IFVP board, much less become the president?
Yeah, right. So my first conference, Big Apple 2013, I am a newbie and I'm terrified. Just terrified. I didn't know anybody in the IFVP. Went by myself. I went a day early because I was trying to get into the GR 101 class. And so Donna Brougham, who was the event manager, said, well, come out. There may be a last minute cancellation. You can get in. Never know. And so I thought, well, what the heck? I'll go. So I went, and then no cancellation. So I said, hey, I'm here. I'd like to help. And I ended up cutting paper and, just like doing all this volunteer stuff all day. And at the end, I felt like I belonged to something. And, I was an executive in technology for 20 years. And I ran lots of different, I was in lots of different capacities on nonprofit boards for at least 15. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I couldn't move the field through my incredible visual practice, that I could really help with the executive piece of it. So I joined the board, and I served on the board for a couple of years. And then when the presidency was open, I ran for it. So that's
and you won unanimously, correct?
I did. Yes, I was the only one who was brave enough to say, "Hey, I'd really like to do this." So That's how I got here. It really wasn't because I'm a rock star. It was because I could see there was a job to be done.
Right, right. So what is it that you like about serving as a board member with the IFVP?
So, like I said, I'm kind of a roll up my sleeves kind of gal, right? And there's a lot to roll up our sleeves on with IFVP right now. We are an emerging profession. This association, as supporting an international industry, basically, is very young. And so there's the opportunity to make a big impact on both the industry and our professional association by working on our strategic priorities that have been laid out by members and also laid out by board members. So that's, I really dig rolling up my sleeves and seeing that I'm helping to shape that for the future.
Great, great. So what in your estimation is the next level for our nascent industry?
Yeah. So, I come from technology and I'm old. I'm so much older than I look. I joined technology back in the days where we didn't even have the role network engineer. We didn't have webmaster. We didn't have any of those technical roles defined.
Okay.
And it was partially through the work that I and a bunch of managers of IT at that time did to create those roles as recognized working professionals. I think that's the same thing that's going on with visual practitioners.
Yeah.
We have this really important role that we do with communication and with connecting people and with engagement and through, consulting and just coaching, and it just goes on and on and on. But we need to really legitimize the value that we bring and legitimize the roles that we hold in a way that HR can see it, in a way that other consultants can see it, in a way that, most importantly, clients can see it. Mm-hmm. And we need to be compared, our value compared to the value of other professionals, and show that, our credentials are holding the credential of being an experienced visual practitioner brings a contribution that is worthy of professional status. And that's what I really see as the next thing.
Awesome. Great. So I would say, the next question I would like to ask you is, if someone were to want to join the board and were thinking about it, what would you say to them to, bring them over to the dark side of serving on the IFVP board?
Oh my gosh, you're probably the better person to answer that than I am, because you came over, right?
Yes.
But we're doing some really cool stuff. We're, at this point in time, we're redefining what the IFVP looks like. We're in the middle of a branding project. We're in the middle of codifying what is happening with IFVP. In the past, what often happened was you joined the IFVP board and then you ran the conference. Mm-hmm. And, every year the conference was kind of, it built on past years, but there wasn't a real formal hand down of information to the next conference committee. Well, this board has really focused on codifying those things. So we have a Trello board set up for our newsletter. We have a Trello board set up for our conference, so that the project planning and the process that we're using to get stuff done can be handed to the next team. Mm-hmm. Soon this year, I'm going to be taking on a board handbook. All other nonprofit boards I've ever served on have a board handbook that just tell you kind of what are the basic information. Mm-hmm. And what do I see happening next? I see things that help our industry mm-hmm. and our association mature. Code of conduct, maybe. Maybe there's something going down the line toward helping us to build out our credentials. I just see a lot of things Sunny, you've been working on some real interesting stuff around communications and bringing members in with our badge contest that's going to be happening. We're trying to do things that people can give us 4 hours, or they can really dive fully in and be part of the board and help shape. That's the difference. If you want to help shape what happens with IFVP and shape what happens with our industry, join the board.
Yeah.
Because together we're the ones who are really reaching out and trying to figure that out and channel everybody's good ideas into something that's a body of work.
Fantastic. So what inspires you as a board member?
Working with people like you, frankly. I mean, really, we have such interesting and smart people, active volunteers. We have current board members, and we have prospective future board members who are going to build on the foundation that this board and the previous board and, all the people who came before us for 25 years or something like that, at least 20 years, have created. And it inspires me to think that we really are creating an industry, that we're really trying to bring that legitimacy that someday when I give my card out and it says visual facilitator, people are going to say, cool, instead of, what's that?
Right. Yes, exactly. So where do you see yourself after your term?
Oh, honestly, I see myself having like a big glass of Chardonnay and kicking my feet up for about 3 months. No, one of the things I really want to see happen with the work that's being done now is it's sustainable and that there's a succession plan.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to say it? Succession plan.
Yes.
Southernism is getting in the way with, I-85 is burning here in Atlanta. So I get a Southern moment there. Okay.
I saw that last night.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Traffic in Atlanta, as an aside, has always been interesting, but usually the snow melts. The problem now is the bridge melted. And so the interstate melted. So this isn't going to go away in 2 days. Anyway, so what do I see when I'm done? I actually see myself staying on in a capacity where I can help the incoming board build on what we have. So there's not this big knowledge gap that happens. I'm an independent, just like not everybody anymore, but just like a lot of people. So I'm busy. Everybody's busy. But I really want to see the handoff. I want to hand the baton to the next board, and I want the other board members with me to hand the baton to the next board so they run. Mm-hmm. So they don't bumble around and pick stuff up on the ground, and start again. That's what I see. And then I want to jump off and be an active volunteer. I want to run the IFVP Atlanta local gathering once a month. I think that would just be totally fun to be in the capacity where I just have a meeting once a month, get all my peeps together, and we all learn from each other. So that's what I see.
Great. And so I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
And that's, so 10 years from now, what do you think you'll be most remembered for as a board member?
Wow. That's a tough question because it shows my ambition, right? That's a question that really shows what I'm ambitious for the IFVP to become. And what I want to be remembered for is being part of the team that helped us transition from being a member association to being a professional association. Meaning, as we gain this recognition for the value that we contribute, like I talked about a few minutes ago, that we'll be supported as professionals by our association, and that we can count on that association to help us establish legitimacy and credibility and tell the story of our industry to potential clients in order to expand the pie of work that's available to everybody who wants to enter this profession. Goes back to my IT days. when we couldn't even say what a network engineer was, and we couldn't train one. We certainly couldn't create the need for thousands of them in every business that wants to use a central data server and connect all of their computers to it. If you didn't know what a webmaster was, and there was no defined, this makes a good webmaster because they have these skills, then we had all kinds of, scandalous things happen where people couldn't do the job and they were hired to do a job, and there was this big uncertainty for clients. And I really want to be remembered as being part of the team that helped us move into that place where we're all seen as professionals, and that there's a certainty when you hire us that we're going to add value.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me for a couple of minutes, and also to thank you for your service and your leadership as our president. And I will be seeing you in Atlanta.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, Sunny. And thanks so much for interviewing me today. It was really fun to talk about my aspirations for the IFVP and for our future. And you're a good interviewer. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.